Hello, 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 everyone. If you are tuning in, there might be a slight bit of issue here and there with the volumes and whatnot. I've got a little bit of a problem. Wait, how's that? That looks better. I think. I'm not sure. Let's just fuck around with this for a second. All right, okay. Hi everyone. Apologies. Things are a bit chaotic. I'm just trying to fix some issues with the audio. Or not really. The audio is sort of semi-fine, but it's could be better, you know. So, agenda for today is we're going to be doing some exploration and stuff. But let us get started. My name is Zia. It's a pleasure to meet you. If you are watching for the first time, or maybe you're watching in the future, we're going to be doing a little bit of live streaming here. But of course, you can watch in the future via the VODs and everything. My plan for today is, well, going to be doing a bit of exploration stuff and playing around with some Guardian stuff. I technically already have all the Guardian stuff unlocked, though. Except one module. I think there's actually just one module I still need to unlock. But all in all, I'm actually pretty much done, but I just want to go back and get a couple of extra. Yeah. Weird thing. And also a bit of... Ooh. Music started. Probably not very audible on the stream, I would fear. But nevertheless. The important thing is that it's kind of fun to do those things. It's just fun for me. Great ancient alien ruins. We couldn't stream last week because of various issues with internet and of course also with my own lungs screwing me over, but nevertheless we can get started. Now, I'm actually quite close to the Guardian site there, so what I might do is actually, because I do need to try and get something first before I do anything else. I do want to try and see if I can maybe get one more nice little planet to explore. It would take a bit of a faff, I guess. I haven't actually checked out all of the little systems nearby here, to be honest. Let's check here. We can actually go into the filters. Pirates Federation. No. Civilization. Government. Star class. Security. User data. Not visited, visited. Yeah, a lot more stars need to be visited here. Before I actually go to the Guardian side, I want to hit. Let's just poke our little beaks in here, just to see what there might be here.
Frameshift drive charging.
And of course, a gentle reminder to anyone watching, remember that the Elite Dangerous forums are not a safe place for anyone. Not even for Frontier Development's own staff, I believe, because they seem to have had the brilliant idea of just making the entire Frontier Development's Elite Dangerous server run by other people. That's a fucking brilliant move on their side. Oy. I think they must have learned it from fucking Elon Musk or something. And also, as you don't know me, I like to swear. I do. It's just what I do. Also, for people besides, it's just part of my nature. If you're too young to be listening to hearing swear words, you shouldn't be watching this stream and should be leaving. Or if you're 80-year-old virgin grandma, you know, have a heart attack and go away. Alright, okay, so we already scanned 3 of the bodies here just by entering the system, so it's not really a big system, is it? Zia Ebon's Elite Danger Streams. No underage, no 80-year-old grandmas.
Systems
A weird thing some of you might think. Why is there such a thing as 80-year-old virgin grandma? 'Cause surely if they're a grandmother, they would have had children, and by that virtue would not be. Yeah, these two systems aren't been landed before. I do want to check here. This one's rocky. It's probably going to be useless. This one's metal. I want to check whilst I'm out here. That one's germanium. Chromium, germanium, molybdenum, technetium, antimony. Antimony, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, is one of those things that best to just stock up on anyways. So yeah, let's go here then. I have called this ship of mine Silent Wanderlust. No, lost the one that I selected specifically for this. Was this one? Mandalay. I do kind of want to make a combat Mandalay for the sake of trying it out, because this thing is very maneuverable and quite fun to fly. I did actually once put a few guns on one and then threw it into a combat situation. It didn't fare well, but I had a lot of fun in that brief moment before I got blown to bits. It is definitely a ship that, even though it's an exploration ship, it definitely has some capacity to be used as a sort of weird high-speed interceptor sort of thing. Oh, and of course we're here now on the week after the community goal that happened with the special double-engineered power distributor. Yes, which is actually quite a nice little thing that we finally got those things. I unfortunately can't put together the Python Mark II build I wanted to do on the basis of, well, I don't quite have the gear ready for that. There's also an idea I recently had as well as I was musing about it. It's like, oh, it would actually work very well on the Imperial Clipper. Because the Imperial Clipper has a size 6 power distributor, but it also has a size 7 internal slot. And the size 7 internal slot you can of course put in a, you guessed it, size 7 shield. And if you take a size 7 bi-weave and suddenly make it reinforced and then also give it fast charge, especially at a size 7, it's going to be chewing through a lot of energy. And suddenly having a distributor that gives a lot of engines and a lot of shields capacity and systems capacity in a ship that is famous for being a hard point on itself because of ramming speed, is a large, very fast, very maneuverable target going at an incredible good speed, especially when you start boosting. And now you've given it ample capacity for systems and engines. Then you just need a couple of low energy draw weapons just as a cherry on top. Maybe something that will have a little bit of reduce the speed of another opponent's ship, and then you'll be able to be golden. Now, are we gonna have this bug happen?
Landing gear deployed.
By which I mean that things don't spawn when I land. It's something a bit of an annoyance that sometimes happens. I thought this shit was sorted. Yeah, well, if I can land.
Low gravity warning.
Right, there's things that actually spawn, so go.
Dismissed.
Dismiss the ship. So there's a bronzite crondite in that direction. Bronzite crondite in that direction. Unknown in that direction. I do apologize if you hear some buzzy noises and whatnot. Computer fans are... they need a bit of tuning and updating. Of course, if you want to support me, you can. There's, of course, numerous ways you can support me. Mainly, of course, it's just liking, subscribing, and following, and also maybe going through the info series, following me on Blue Sky will, of course, help bring more attention, and we can get things rolling. And then one day I can, of course, get to a point where I can actually start earning funding from YouTube, and in such be able to replace my computer fans and maybe also get a better mic as well. Something that's very nice and clear, crisp, not as janky as the current set is. But I have to admit, these headphones are very nice headphones, just in general. So yeah, but I really need to, and I really don't have much of an income. What with the entire global climate, political climate around the world, it is amazing how someone in the northern hemisphere, the moment they say something, how it can affect the economy of the world in such an annoying fashion. But then again, I don't want to talk too much about politics. It gets me quite depressed. Because, of course, you know, it's much nicer to talk about some kind of fantasy politics because, you know, it's a fantasy world. We can take out our frustrations and our fantasies of being the bad guy or the good guy in a fantasy environment. A role play, as one might say. It's also sort of like one of those things I've been wondering about. Is if I make a player group in Elite Dangerous and they follow me here on YouTube videos, what kind of thing about it? But I always thought like, oh, what about the clan? The raiding clan. They, of course, stick to the outskirts of human space, always grabbing things and whatnot by the sidelines. You know, also with the general idea of guys, if it's a roaming sort of thing, then we don't need an exact system, and we don't participate in sort of specific BGS or power play. So yeah, we'd be more, and it would be more of a safe space without much. Ooh, there is a. I don't know how to pronounce it. Amazing, you're not right. Over in this direction. But there's a bronzite crondite that is closer. We might want to hit that one first. But yeah, I do quite... I know some people actually hate the SOV. And some people actually love it. But I'm definitely one of the people that quite enjoy it. With the caveat that I am currently on a metallic world and or rocky world and not a icy world. Key point there. If it wasn't, I'd be swearing my teeth out and wishing for death. Whee! No need to worry about obstacles when I can literally just hover like a little drone. Whee! Oh. Ow. Where was I? Of course, yes, of course, fantasy politics. You know, it seems like things are going around in Elite Dangerous. Though, the story in the game world has been quite stagnant and boring and poorly written for quite a bit of for the last 4 years now, I'd say. There really does need a sort of, well, it is at least nice that we are now at least getting more patches, we're getting new ships, we've got some new actual mechanics, we're getting things done, we're getting things fixed up, we're getting things... And even though I'm actually not going to be using much of Vanguard's update. The whole reworked on squadrons. The thing is still, I'm glad that it's happening. I would have preferred an update to fix up on the utter fucking mess that is the current power play thing. But, you know, maybe in like a year or two you'll see that get fixed again. But all in all, you know, the game isn't dead. Elite Dangerous is not dead. Well, it technically hasn't died at any point. The communities for it might be incredibly toxic and the worst place to be ever. But, you know, if you just play solo, like I do, it's quite an enjoyable little game. No obligations, no rush. I don't need to have 50 cutters by the end of this week, because no one is asking me to get in a cutter and move 500 billion tons of cargo, or else they'll be very upset with me in a Discord forum. That ain't happening. Just isn't. Unknown signals at 81. Unknown Rottenside Klondike at 40. I guess we can go in this direction a bit further and then go to 80. I'm not going to be in 80, 90, depending on where the signal's strength goes. The game is still a good game. The original game that was written and coded by the people, of course, it is a simulator that has aged a lot, but is still a solid, decent enough simulation. Yeah, there's a lot of games that, of course, do the simulation thing of a galaxy and economies and stuff a lot better, like, for example, X4 Foundations. That is a lot better, more solid simulation. It's also recently got a big update on its flight model, which has actually made it a lot more immersive, a lot more fun, but also hasn't made it overly complex, as some people might think it has done. But nevertheless, it is nice. It is nice that that happened. But Elite Dangerous isn't as advanced as a simulator as it used to be, because it just isn't. It's just definitely shown its age, but it doesn't. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's like Skyrim. People still fucking play Skyrim. People still play a Morrowind, and that's an incredibly outdated game. But it's not about whether or not it's outdated. It's about whether do you have fun playing it. And that's what matters. And that's why I'm always fervent about asking people, like, are you really having fun in this game? Because there's a lot of predatory people who will tell you that the way to have fun in this game and how you must have fun in it is to sit and do BGS grinding for their faction. And that's not right, because you're not giving them the opportunity to be who they want to be and play in this galaxy and find out for themselves. That's also something that I'm worried about with the upcoming Vanguard's update and changes to player groups, because there is a possibility with the fact that they mentioned, oh, you can now actually, you can make a pre-fitted ship and give it to other players. The problem I see with that is that there's probably going to be a lot of people who honestly don't fucking know what they're doing, and they're going to give these people cutters with 8 shield boosters and no shield generator, but all slots inside the thing is filled with cargo racks and a docking computer and a supercruise assist, and then they're going to say, you trade for us now, we've given you the ship, you go trade for us. And then, surprise surprise, those people will naturally of course go, yeah, this ain't fucking fun, is this the game? And they will either leave that player group or leave the game entirely. And, you will naturally have an issue with people going again. Was it why are new people leaving the game? Why are new people leaving the game? Well, it's the same reason why a lot of people have started making their own new player groups. When they came back to the game, is that Bill's like, oh, well, you know, we don't want any of that fucking shit. We're just gonna say no. Give me carbon. I know some people might be furiously typing. I was like, oh, but why don't I just go do the crystal shards thing? And well, number one, crystal shards don't work anymore because of Odyssey's updates and everything. 2, it's boring. 3, the fuck is wrong with you? 4, it's boring. 5, it's out of date and not really as fast as you might think it is, because the biggest problem with the old crystal shards thing is it's an incredibly far away distance. It's not economical to fly out all the way there just to fill up on one material, then fly all the fucking way back to find a material trader just to go get that thing sorted out. It just doesn't fucking work. It might have worked when YouTuber Exploito Man 5000 fucking did it, but it's not anymore. The only way it might work is if you, say, for example, are new to the game and someone kidnaps you on their fleet carrier and forces you to go there. That's about the only way. But again, it comes down back to that thing of like, oh, well, I want to play the game. And sort of why I'm, since having deleted my account and resetting my account about 2 years ago, I'm so ungodly happy that I don't have a fleet carrier anymore. I'm also quite happy with the fact that I don't have a cutter. That I never ever have to get a cutter again, because look here. We go here to the panel here. Reputation, Empire, Friendly, Baron, 100%. And it's gonna stay like that for the rest of eternity. I don't know. Why don't we say something that I'm going to regret? If I can get... So let's make it nice and concise so we can actually get it nicely, maybe in like a little YouTube short. If I can get 500 subscribers on YouTube, I will go and grind the cutter and fly it about on live stream. Out of self-loathing hate, because I hate that shit. That is the only sort of situation where like I would actually go and get the cutter again. Otherwise, I hate it. I don't want it. I don't ever want to fly that thing again. There's just so many ships that just does its things better. In fact, even the Type 9, even though it might have a little bit less cargo, just feels better to fly than the cutter. And plus, I just don't like it. It's just not nice. It's also hellishly expensive. Oh, by the way, in between last time I streamed this game, I did hit Elite in trade, which is nice. I don't really have much use for Shinrat or Desra, because, well, Daddy Patrius gives me a lot of equipment already. And if I equip at Daddy Patrius's flagships, I already get my elite rank discount, so it doesn't really matter. Of course, I did actually fly there just for the, you know, all right, okay, we fly there. So I haven't been there. I haven't been there for eons, and I thought, well, might as well. And I picked up a gunship, stripped it of all of its equipment, put it in storage, and shoved it. Later on, when I've got an idea of what I want to do with it, I will, of course, go ahead and plan things out and do things with it. But for the moment, I just wanted to put it in storage so I don't have to later on get it. And, you know, since I don't really move around that too much, and when I assemble something, I make sure it can actually travel on its own steam, I don't need to load it into a fleet carrier. Because, you know, spoiler alert, you know, there's like stations and outposts and surface settlements, you know, where you can, you know, land and, you know, get your module equipments and storage is done, yeah. Of course, there is like an argument to be made. Yeah, if you have to move your entire fleet of ships every 2 hours, sure, yeah, there's a definitive value in having a fleet carrier to move your entire fleet. And if you just enjoy doing it, that's fine. If you say, Lamar, it's funny to use a fleet carrier to travel 10 light years to another station, because why not? We paid enough for all of it, we might as well use it. But if you are the sort that is like, no, but someone said to me, and the forums and this, I must have it or I will die. Well, spoiler alert, you're lying to yourself. You're either doing it for fun and convenience and gains and whatnot, or you just don't need it. But of course, try and say that to the community and some Elite Dangerous, and they'll fucking really start pissing their pants. Again, reminder, the Elite Dangerous forums is a bad place to be. But of course, you know, I was wondering, of course, if the Elite Dangerous forum is not safe, then might as well try and make a new place that is safe for people. Get people away from the Elite Dangerous forums. It's a toxic place. Do not go there. And again, gaming forums in general is quite toxic. It's how I learned actually then to be very trigger happy with block functions. You know, for all the bad things that happened, at least Elite Dangerous has taught me one thing. Block people. Go fucking ham. Block people. It doesn't fucking matter. Just block them. Because why? It's the internet. 2, it's A, the internet. B, you're here to have fun. Have fun. Whee! Whoop. I believe I can fly. I don't think I can crash and die. Hopefully those music bots will come and demonetize my shit. Woo! Ooh. Oh, and it crashed there. What time are we looking at? 2022. For those of you who don't know, I live in a universal time coefficient +2 time zone. So basically, if you see the Elite Dangerous clock, add +2 to it, and that's the time I am currently at in life. It is a bit late, you know, but I like to stream at this time. It seems to be most comfortable for me to stream it. Of course, did a lot of work this week. A bunch of 3D modeling and stuff. Those of you who, of course, follow me on Blue Sky, of course, will know that I am a 3D modeler. I make a lot of 3D models for various reasons. And again, of course, you know, if you like art, come there as well. But of course, again, with the general presence, of course, with the these streams, and of course, there's, if you're underage, you shouldn't be here. You should be at school. You should be doing your homework. And you should have a child lock on your fucking device. End of story. You shouldn't be here. Your mother and father and whoever is raising you should do their fucking duty and raise you properly. You should not be trying to fucking censor the internet when they literally can already just install a thing on your device and it stops you from visiting such horrendous things. You shouldn't be here. But of course, for the adults, the mature people, welcome. Hello, my name is Zia. I am a fucked up person. I am a queen of my little empire. Now, this signal is either an outcrop or a metallic meteorite, and I'm hoping it's a metallic meteorite. You can tell us, of course, like from the wavelength scanner. It's coming up close. There it is. Outcrop. Yeah, outcrop. It's a bit difficult to differentiate between outcrop and metallic meteorite at first. I need to try and get my eye tuned in again for which one is which one. I believe the metallic meteorite is a little bit brighter on those things. But nevertheless. Let's get this last bit here. We haven't gotten much germanium here. We have gotten chromium and whatnot, but... Ugh. I believe germanium has a... Wait, did I land on the right planet? That might be actually a good point. Did I land on the right planet? Or was I too busy talking shit with my... Watch it. Germanium. Yeah, there's germanium here, but... Where is it? Well, germanium tends to be a bit more in metallic meteorites and... whatchamacallits? Yeah, no, whatchamacallits? Mazanion, alright. General rule, find out how to pronounce something wrong and then make sure that so everyone's listening so they'll correct you for you. Elevating. I don't know, let's check here around here. There's a couple of signal pings on the distance. Let's try and get closer so we can find out what they are. We of course didn't see anything new about the Panther Clipper, which is disappointing. Leaving the question of just how, are they just trying to milk how much what's the word? Hype they can out of it. There's also a bit of an issue with that, is that, well, you are looking at a situation where, okay, now that thing, that Panther Clipper Mark II, which, let's be honest, it's not the Panther Clipper Mark II. It's the Behemoth. And for whatever reason, they decide at last minute, well, it's like, well, everyone thinks it's the Panther Clipper, we'll have to change the name and change the logos on it and whatnot. Because it isn't the Panther Clipper. And it is also ugly as sin. I already voiced my opinion about this whole that thing looking like a fucking cargo drone. And someone scaled up. And especially tired by when they start talking about how much effort they did to add various details and whatnot to give a sense of scale. It's like, yeah, in other words, it wasn't the right scale. You had scaled it up, and it is now has to be fixed before everyone thinks it's smaller than it is. Well done, dude. Well done. You have failed. The problem is of course, that central like cargo rack looking shit. It could, I mean, ultimately, it could easily be covered up with a bit of a ship kit or some sort of thing to cover that area up. But it does beg a question of what exactly happened with the design process to end up with that. Because if you look at all the old designs for the Panther Clipper and the concept sketches for it, why didn't they use any of the for the ideas for the body on those and that side? Because I do think if we could take the current Panther Clipper design that is going to be introduced and replace the central and back portion of the body, but keep the rotating thrusters on the sides and whatnot, but replace that body with the original concept sketches body, which was a lot more bulky. Because at the current moment, it looks like someone had tried to take a Amazon delivery cargo drone and put it into space instead of it being a spaceship that holds cargo. It doesn't look right. And at the end of the day, for people like me, it isn't going to matter how much cargo it can carry or what kind of performance it has or how many huge hard points it has. If it looks ugly as sin and handles awful, it's just not going to be fun to fly. Because that's been sort of things, and also why I'm probably not going to pre-order and get early access for it, because A, I don't really have the money for that, and B, well, why should I... Why should I get something that just doesn't handle nicely? Like, I know I got the Imperial Corsair, the early access for it, and the Imperial Corsair handles wonderfully. It is a wonderfully handling ship. It is a quite nice handling ship. It's like it's all the thing was like, I'm glad I did get it. I didn't get the early access for the Type 8. I'm glad I didn't, because it handles boring. It doesn't feel fun. Also, the Type 8 is actually kind of bad for the type of trading I tend to do, where I do like to have some kind of armament with my trading. It's quite bad. Germanium. Germanium is German. Not really. Actually, I should go ahead and do a little checkup. What exactly was germanium used for again? And the Mandalay. The Mandalay is quite nice. I don't think I would have gotten it for, because I would just use it for an exploration stuff. Not really a must-have. It's not as universal or multi-purpose. I had originally gotten, and I didn't get the Cobra Mark V, and I'm glad I did, because the moment I didn't get it, when it was out of early access, it became very apparent that it was well, quite a boring ship. And the moment I flew the Cobra Mark V, I didn't think, oh, it's a Cobra Mark V. You know what I thought? It's a Viper. It's a different Viper. It's not a Cobra, it's a Viper. And I just didn't like it, because one of the things that, of course, was nice about the Cobra is you had the hard points at the front. And because you had the hard points at the front, being all pew 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 pew, you of course had... Oh, you know what I should do? We have not gotten this thing running. My apologies, everyone. I just had to alt-tab there quickly for 5 seconds. What was I talking about? Yeah, with the Cobra Mark 3 and the Mark 4, the great thing about it was that you had those hard points that was like right there in front of the cockpit, so you can actually see the guns shooting a bit. It's a nice little fun detail about the Cobra Mark 3. And by extent, the Anaconda and the Crate Phantom and the Crate Mark 2 are great ships for this whole, you get to see the guns shooting. It's fun. And it's important. It's fun. The fun factor, one would say. But then when I asked to sort of begin wondering, exactly is that what I use the Cobra Mark V for, if it's kind of useless? Well, the thing is it does have 4 utility mounts, but it also doesn't have that much bigger of a power plant, and it's got, if I remember off the top of my head, it's 3 medium hard points. It's just generally just not a ship that I'm going to be using, and it just doesn't feel fun. So I'm quite glad I didn't pre-order that ship either. So I will definitely, well, it's going to be a miserable wait, because those people who may know me for a longer time, or may have known me when I went under a different name in Elite Dangerous, and also had a different name a different preferred name, they will of course know that I was unholy obsessed about the Panther Clipper LX. Or, if you know your Roman numerals, Panther Clipper 60. Because that's what the LX is for. There's of course that argument of like, well, isn't it large extra? Well, the thing is, if it was extra large, it would have been XL. And also, in an Elite Dangerous, there's not really any sort of precedence for using the term XL. Because if you look at the weapon or hard points, it goes from small, medium, large, huge, not extra large. Which is like something important to note. It is pretty much the Roman numerals systems there is the Panther Clipper LX. LX is 60. If I remember correctly. I don't know, it's been a while since I've looked at Roman numerals. I actually need to take another look at them, because there is going to be some things I'm going to be 3D modeling and whatnot, and I thought, like, for the heck of it, all the characters in the universe that are in Terran territories. Terrans use Roman numerals because in my universe's alternate history, Rome never fell, or to be precise, it fell a lot later. So its influence on what lettering and numbering systems to use has been spread a lot more. But that's just like a background fluff of my own personal story. So I should actually take a time to learn the Roman numerals a lot more. Yeah. I think we've had enough dicking about on this planet. Oh, you know what we haven't done? Because this world isn't named for first footfall. Shall we go have a little bit of a stomp, stomp, stomp? What? First footfall. I like doing that for every footfall I do. Jump away from the vehicle, and then jump back, just so there's one set of footprints not touching anything else, and then go on. It's a little pointless thing, but it's a little pointless thing that helps me get through the game, and I enjoy. It's how I like to do things. Wait, let us get on board. Whoop, no, not that. Let's go ahead and move on to phase 2. The other thing I wanted to do whilst I was out here, besides the exploration stuff and getting a bit of, because I need to get exploration data for a mission. I want to do exploration for a bit of fun. I want to get some of the Guardian things just for stock up on the things I want to get on there. In case anything happens there, I want to get more of the engineered Guardian weapons. And just generally have fun. And who knows, maybe if you're watching this, you might learn a thing or two. Whether you're watching live, or whether you're watching in the future, or in the past. Depending on how you're doing time travel. It might be something useful you might learn.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
I would need to maybe take a moment to like bookmark some of the things and snippet them out. I have to experiment with YouTube's editing software, or on-site editing thing. See if how I can snippet bits of video out of a live stream, because there's something along the lines of that in their studio on the website. So I would want to maybe try and experiment with that thing and see exactly what happens. What bookmark was this? There's a... Yeah, that's weapon 2. Okay.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, excuse me.
2, 1,
I'm so glad I got this mute button bound. Yeah, it would be nice if I could get a nice microphone that actually has a little mute button on it that I can slap while streaming. And of course with Denard, I have to also make sure I go through everything and fix up all the audio settings again. I can't remember which planet in the system has the actual... I should have actually made the bookmark on the planet itself, that has the Guardian site. But we can find it fast enough. Because I've visited the system before, it will be here in the system thing. Biological, geological, which is going to be brain trees. Because if you ever wondered what happened to the Guardians, they're brain trees now. Spoiler alert! Ah, there we go. I don't actually know what happened to the Guardians. But I can tell you actually from what lore is available in game, and with how the Elite Dangerous's writing teams seem to be going, we'll never be able to actually get the Guardian content that we were hoping to get 10 years ago. But there's definitely a case of, well, whatever we get now is probably not going to be good or satisfying in any sort of stretch of it. But from what we know, of course, of the Guardians, of course, that they had a quite advanced technology, and they got fucking wiped out by their own war machines, who basically went, yeah, no, we're tired of having to fight the Thargoids. We're sick and tired of this shit. We're stopping this issue at the source of the issue, which were the Guardians. In case you didn't know it or didn't know about the lore, the Guardians are not Guardians. They're hunters. They're the hunters. And, you know, they might have ethical hunting procedures and not to hunt something into extinction, but unfortunately, that doesn't work with the Thargoids. The Thargoids get pissed off and they start coming, and they don't stop coming. They keep escalating with their assaults. The Guardians had eventually had resorted to using constructs and AI programs to fight the wars for them. And naturally, what happened is after a while, the AI was basically self-aware, and it went, well, the only real way to get rid of this entire situation is to cut it off the source, and the source of this entire situation is the Guardians. And it killed its own people in one massive bloodbath. Something's odd here.
orbital flight engaged.
I don't remember that much green on this planet. Huh? Probably nothing. I remember someone was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could meet the Guardian AI? They'll probably be so much friends with it. No, dude. they will look at humanity in Elite Dangerous and they will go, oh my god, it's another fucking species that's just endlessly creating war. Guess we'll do the same thing we did before. Cut off the problem at the source, and they will exterminate all of humanity. And it's not like they're organically grown like Thargoid ships, you know. Thargoids are grown... It's a special kind of brand of, like, biomechanical engineering where the actual species is the ships now. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the Thargoids don't have, like, bipedal walk-around kind of people left anymore. Simply because, why should they? Their ships are the species. The motherships are the species. They've mutilated and mutated their bodies with biomechanical engineering to the point where they fly. They are the ships. But the Guardians... The Guardians still were of flesh and had experimented with AIs and uploading their consciousness into AI programs and such. And because of that sort of thing where they were dabbling in that and the AI became conscious, also very importantly aware of just what kind of assholes they were serving, they decided, we're just gonna eliminate them.
Landing gear deployed.
And so they did. Such powerful technology all left to rot and waste. I do at one point want to make a bit of a effort to do something, which is going to be a bit difficult, but I want to go to every single one of these Guardian sites, because every single one of them is a different site. Yeah, of course, some of them might have a resemblance to a certain category of site, but actually the individual components and blocks that stand around, like this little pillar here, are different in every site. A little bit of like different wear and tear on different sites. And I want to very much go through all the sites and take pictures and everything and try and get measurements of everything. And then one day basically restore one of these sites into working condition in like a 3D model that accurately shows how the site would have looked like when it wasn't ruins. There's always something bone-chilling about remembering the first time I ever saw one of these Guardian drones. Well, let's get that headlights turned off. We don't need those. Now, actually, I don't know, some people actually don't quite understand how these things work. But basically what you want to do is, well, you do the puzzle. As you fly near a very large central monolith, which is the data center over there, you want to get to that. And you also want to eliminate all these little... Even though I don't need to, it was the original way I managed to avoid a lot of the Guardian drones as retaliation strikes. Is basically you just hide under one of these arches. The missiles can't hit you if you're underneath the arch. Oh no. Hello? Also, do excuse me if anyone gets a bit of motion sickness about how I'm going to be piloting the SRV in this next bit. Oh, I forgot to get my bloody cargo scoop open. Cargo scoop.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Because basically, basically these things I've actually managed to figure out how to drive the SRV like a tank. Because it's actually quite generous. Fuck me.
Target destroyed.
I mean, don't fuck me, please. Because I actually got used to doing this like this, and I've actually done these Guardian sites for context. I now have as many Guardian engineered weapons as I had before I deleted my account, my save. And I had like 20 engineered Guardian modules, and I had also grinded and got all the Guardian equipment and modules back then, and I now have all of them unlocked as well again. And I'm back here and getting more of it. I have an obsession with overwhelming power. And the Guardian plasma charger is something of a weapon that I really, really wanted. It's not as quite as powerful as I would like to fetishize about. But it is a very nice weapon. As far as plasma accelerators go, the Guardian one is actually very good because it has a very good velocity. And despite what people used to think back in the day, they used to, whenever I said such things as they were like, oh, but it's only for shooting Thargoids. Actually, no, actually, those things actually, they do damage against humans because they do absolute damage and AX damage. Here's another pillar. And because of that nature, is that it actually is a very good weapon. All these graffiti on these pillars and whatnot, all these little marks done with a precision and intent or some various reasons. There is a huge amount of archaeology that is honestly not yet been done on these sites. So much that has not yet been understood about what has been done here. And it's literally right here. It's right here. All the markings and everything. These markings, these hieroglyphs, they might just look like, oh, electronic things. But that's the thing. If they're electronics, wouldn't it be possible to, you know, recreate all these markings and turn them into various circuits of some sorts? Would it be that some of the secrets of the Guardians that have just simply not been discovered yet because no one has actually gone through the effort in measuring all these markings and making sure if they were indeed something or not? Of course, most people would actually do that. They'll probably just sit around hoping someone will either make some kind of AI that will fucking do it for them, or try and hack or dox someone at Frontier Development to tell them what the solution is, because that's the kind of people they are. But nevertheless, I've got enough power cells. I tend to forget what's exactly at what places on this site, but let's go ahead and... Okay, this pillar at this beacon does not have any technology components. I've also been wondering about those pillars. They don't seem to be part of the site in some fashion, which is strange. And the way with some of these sites a bit sunk in, there's a thought that there was this structure may have had a level above it, and it got and when the constructs decided to eliminate the Guardians, they blew everything up and upheaved the entire upper side of the facility, because there's a whole bunch of battle scarring here. Not like decay and break apart. No, this is like blast out of plasma stuff. Oh, by the way, make sure to always scan the pillars and the obelisks to get extra little bits of data that will be necessary for various little bits there. This isn't really a full-on tutorial, I know, but I might be mindful to always mention or talk about what I'm doing, in case someone that is watching might not know, or might want to learn something as I go. Alright, this one here. This one has a technology component. Ooh. Is there more than one? No. There's of course a drone right here. And there isn't another one. Hello? Good day, sir. I am pillaging your temples.
Target destroyed.
Oh, wait. Did he drop anything? That's weird. Usually I drop at least minimum one thing. Destructible panel. What do you contain? Just a... This is a lock. Oh, I'll need to make sure I get this. Okay, one of the relics. There's something actually people don't know about the relics. There's a thing inside them. Next time you may travel past here, take a look inside them. Take a real close look at what's going on with those relics. There's something not right there. Lock. Another lock. I don't need more locks. I need more keys. Or Guardian technology components. Which is why I call them keys, because they look like keys. Keys to infinite power. It all just needs to be unlocked. It all just needs to be understood. Yeah, come on, get the angle. Yeah, that's like one of those little projects I might want to do some point when I've got more time and I'm not too concerned with my lack of income. Oh, there we go. No, Guardian technology component. So the one nearest to here is actually on the top one is actually a technology component, which is nice to know. I now completely forgot which one it was. Maybe one of you people who are watching right now could maybe just rewind and remind me. Of course, most people won't even know that those things spawn on fixed points, which is probably something important to keep in mind when I try and recreate the Guardian device. I will need to probably take note of every single drop and where it drops to make sure I get everything correctly so I can decipher it. And just generally confirm if indeed it is a device or not. And then we come here to the Great Temple. The Great Core here. We jettison this relic full of thought and emotions. Engrams of millions and billions. Or who knows how many. How little, how many, who knows. To gain access to their knowledge. Gouge it out of the relic. Gain from the ancient data terminal. Unlock their thoughts and collect them. Guardian Weapon Blueprint Fragment. Technically it's not a blueprint because blueprints, for those who don't know, blueprints became a sort of name for engineering drawings. But the thing is that blueprints technically don't even exist anymore. No one makes blueprints anymore. Because they make technical drawings, yeah, and people might call them blueprints, but they're not actually blueprints. Because blueprints is a type of copying method. A method of creating easily copyable drawings. You originally had drawn the drawing in a white on a blue paper, and that was easier to actually copy for the terms of actually recreating the drawing and sharing the drawing around so that everyone can actually produce the things they need to produce. But over time, technology advanced. The equipment we had to make copies, photocopiers got invented, all kinds of other methods and scanners invented, and also just computer-aided drafting became a thing. And you can now create technical drawings on a computer and print them out and send them around, and even 3D printing things. Blueprints is fucking non-existent. They don't exist anymore. No one does blueprints anymore. If only for like hipster things, or like for some kind of a hipster thing, or maybe like there's like those famous like Elite Dangerous blueprints. It's like they're quite fun and nice to look at, and they're like someone that taken the photos of the ships and drew out the lines, and they're fun to look at. Yeah, but ultimately, those technically aren't blueprints because they're not the paper being copied in physical form. Because blueprints are a copy method. It's like saying a typewriter. It's like when you're on a keyboard writing an essay. It's like, I'm on the typewriter. No, you're on a fucking computer and you're typing out in a Word document. Now I've suddenly got an image in my head of someone just you know, they've modified their computer keyboard to have big mechanical keys and a slam thing that is the enter button, so they can slam it on the side like it's an old old typewriter that they're working with. Oh. I'm pretty sure someone's already made such a memey sort of thing. I'm gonna do this site again because A, I need to get more things. B, I still got ammo. C, I need to get one more weapon blueprint, and I need to get more tech modules. Now, remember what I said? This one at the top here has the tech part. Tech part. Ooh, let me just make sure I get my cargo scoop open. Cargo scoop.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Yoink. Now, if you've got enough weapon components, there's like no reason to actually fight them. Wait. Open this one. And if you know where the technology components are, and you've done these sites a couple of times, you really just need to get the technology components and the blueprints, because those are the two ones that typically you run the lowest on. As there's the technology components of that. Hi. Goodbye. Coming through. Whoop. Well, this is awkward. No! Like a turtle on its back. But a turtle with jetpacks. Turtle with jetpacks. Sometimes you get lucky and they actually activate the pylons for you. Coming through. Whoa. Not spin out of control. I do want to keep all my energy in my shields to avoid dying. Even if their missiles still cause the whole knockback thing they used to do, the whole ragdolling thing, it's actually easy enough to have avoided doing that happening by simply just doing a little bunny hop like this when the missile was about to hit. But of course I've got a ship nearby that has got point defense that is just basically keeping the sky clear for me, making this basically easy mode. No, they just really are fucking going for the missiles right now, aren't they? Yeah. It would be really nice to have a missile, Guardian missile launcher. Like a proper Guardian missile launcher, which basically just generates pure energy into a missile. Because that's how advanced the actual Guardian technology is. We have just got some really shitty hybrid tech in comparison to what the Guardians actually have. Pure energy missiles that can curve and fly. Of course, there is that weird thing, of course, like the missiles actually have a... are actually using the model of a... whatchamacallit? Meta-alloy for them. Wonder if they changed that yet or not. I might have to take a look there. It is one hell of a cacophony. I hope it's not too annoying for people who are watching. I might have to re-watch again when I'm done streaming to double check on how things came out. Oh, actually that missile came through. There's a tech component, because we know already that this one drops tech components. Oh yeah, this one's here in this pit. This little section is actually outside the shield dome for this site. Because the Guardians actually had shield technology that was far beyond anything. Those little pillars there, that's farm component for the large dome shield generator that covers this entire zone. We did charge that one, right? Yeah. We charged that one, we charged this one.
Under attack.
I think there's only one we haven't charged. Just this one. Whoa. Again, apologies for anyone that gets motion sick for me playing like this, but I do quite find it fun. All energy giants. Lylons? Really? Sorry. All energy pylons charged. Allow me to rip the secrets out of dead corpses, long dead and recorded for history. Allow me to steal their knowledge for my personal perverse gains. Oh, no, that's a miss out. I want this thing.
Under attack.
My knowledge now.
Mothership under attack.
Come on. Board.
Cargo scoop retracted. Under attack.
I'm not gonna exit again and redo the site because I'm quite happy with what we've done now.
Landing gear retracted.
I just want to get those two. I might as well start making the return trip. My deepest apologies. Cell exploration data and scientific. Now I don't know if I've got a system in my database that is going to count towards enough data for this weekly assignment, but who knows? We'll see once I get there. So I have scanned a couple of systems out, not. None of them had water worlds. It's like just general ideas. If a power play task asks you for exploration data, go find a water world or a terraformer or an Earth-like somewhere out in space, scan it, bring the data. It's worth a lot of credits by itself as well, so you can have that, and that's generally what's going to be classified as sufficient enough for the purposes of that shit. There's also a long list of material I need to actually get for the configuration of Python Mark II I want to build. Because there's a lot of things I want to do there and try and get some use out of that ship, because it is a very beautiful ship and I do definitely enjoy its handling a lot more than the Fer-de-Lance or the Mamba. Or Mamba, or whichever way you would like to say, Mamba. The Python Mark II was okay. But I think I've got something that's going to be able to fix it, and I'll be able to actually enjoy flying, I think. I do actually quite need to get my combat rank up from Master to Dangerous, which is the next one. Where is Master, Deadly, Dangerous, Elite? Or is it Dangerous, Elite, Deadly, then Elite? Whatever. I know it's the next level I need to go to unlock last of the bubble engineers I need to get for ship technology. There is still also a question of... Oh, shit. Sorry about that. Just a bit of a stretch that suddenly had to happen. Ooh. I had a bit of a rough week. Lots of heavy lifting of things. Yes. So there's lots of things I want to do there and get that sorted out. And get those sorted out. I also want to spend a bit more time playing on live stream X4 Foundations, and also play more Star Conflict, because the last time I tried to play Star Conflict, I of course had that bit of issue with my lungs and whatnot, giving me issues and frustrations. So I want to make sure I get that sorted out. I wonder if I should end now. Nah. Might actually spot something interesting along the way. Speaking of which, I probably should just give each of these a little scan. Nope.
Frameshift drive charging.
I need to also figure out if I can get 07 Commander as well here in chat. I actually still need to also get a overlay for the stream that actually shows live chat from the chat room as well. Because of course I don't think YouTube actually saves the live chat, because I'm not a what's the term, partner with YouTube, so they don't actually save the live chat. So it would be important for me to maybe get that somewhere on a corner of the screen when I touch up maybe a bit more of the interface. I'll need to give it a nice little border and figure out how I can get the chat to show up with no other background, anythings, whatnot, so you can have it nicely on screen. A lot of things to do. A lot of things to keep in mind. I do wonder if we'll encounter anything fun on the way. What was the other thing I was talking about? Ah, yes. Getting that Python Mark II sorted out. So I want to get that engineer unlocked so I can get her leveled up, so I can have a bookmark on lightweight life support, just to make my life of engineering sometimes a little bit easier. Am I going to do the Colonia engineers? Not really. There's no real need for it, because after all, Why should I? The Colonia engineers are just too far out of the way, and they're not going to be of much use to me. Nope.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, there's no real reason for me to get the Colonia engineers. I also need to get the on-foot engineers as well to get, actually, I don't need the on-foot engineers because I already got what I need to create a murdering spree. Like, for those of people who have maybe watched some of those live streams where I did on-foot content and just blasted entire settlements. And yes, I'm going to be doing more of those in future as well because they're good for merits for power play. It's just, you know, too much a good thing is bad thing. Also, there's that whole issue with when doing a lot of those, you get to Norority 10 and it's stuck there at Norority 10 and you can't do anything and fall against it and it just sits there. And the weird thing about the Norority and the crime and punishment system in Elite Dangerous is, and it's one of those things that are just out of date and needs to be updated, hopefully sometime in the future, is that the moment the Norority doesn't stop anything, it just annoys you. It's just an inconvenience. And if you're a full-time ganker and harasser and you just go around from system to system blowing things up and getting as much bounties on your head, it doesn't matter. It will not stop you. However, if you get Norority, even if it's 1 point, and you go with some either deliberately or not deliberately, and then later on you go, well, I'll go do other things because I like to do multiple things in Elite Dangerous, then it fucks you over.
Frameshift drive charging.
Then suddenly bounty hunters spawn and they start attacking you at the most inconvenient of times. And they will always hit you at the most inconvenient of times. But when you are a criminal and you're doing criminal actions all the time and ganking and murdering and whatnot, then they never show up at the right time to kill you. They never do. They just don't. They just don't. And that's just the end of the story. It's just a useless system. It is a system that is designed to annoy people into obeying the law. Which is essentially just, that it just doesn't work. Well, what do you do to fix the crime and punishment system as it is right now? That's a bit of a longer question. It is definitely better than what it was years and years ago. It still needs a lot of improvement, like a lot of the Elite Dangerous. It is, unfortunately, at a point where it is an outdated simulator. Still a good simulator, but outdated nevertheless. I am repeating myself from earlier, but then again, I'm just rambling. On and on and on from topic to topic to topic. It's sort of like a situation where, like, you know, if there's nothing interesting happening on screen, I guess this just becomes a bit of a podcast. It does make me wonder, would I open this, if I made this as like a podcast chatty thing, would I actually have a Discord channel open and chatting and letting people, guests, chat in? But then again, the problem is they need to have the understanding and etiquette to not scream fuck 24/7 when in that
Fuel scoop disengaged.
conversation, because, you know, that's going to be a bit bad for YouTube, because YouTube is run by 80-year-old virgin grandmas and they don't like it when you say fuck. You know, they get heart attacks and they die. So, yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I mean, I don't see why I can't say fuck whilst on YouTube, because after all, they've already made YouTube Kids. All the kids need to be there, not here. They can fuck off. YouTube Kids implies the existence of YouTube adults. A raunchy,
Fuel scooping.
not safe for work version of YouTube. Unfortunately, there isn't. I became an adult and I'm not allowed to do adultery. I thought that was the whole point of being an adult. Is the one thing that's called being an adult, or just has the word adult in it, is adultery.
Drive charging.
Terrible jokes, I'm sorry. They're just coming out of nowhere.
Four, three, two,
Because it needs a couple of other bits of engineering materials and whatnot. I need military supercapacitors for high capacity stuff. There's also some data I need. I need to double check if that list still even exists anymore. But there's a list of surface settlements, not the Odyssey settlements, the old settlements that you can drive around and you can scan their stuff and basically steal their data. That's where you can get cracked industrial firmware. But while they're quite fun, it's sometimes difficult to know which ones are the ones that you can actually attack without, you know, getting immediately obliterated by anti-SRV turrets. It's difficult to know which ones are which ones, and which ones actually have cracked industrial firmware in their little data puzzle. Very similar to the puzzle we just did at the Guardian site. Instead of shooting the little things, is just scan 3, 4, 5 little data terminals. You get the data, it gets put in your pocket, and you can use it for engineering. But honestly, it's actually on the topic of data collection, on the data engineering materials, it is just simply easier to go to Jameson's crash site, scan the beacons there, or go to the other abandoned settlements and crashed ships and scan everything there and get all the various bits of data from there on the engineering materials while you're there, and go from there. I don't know why I'm waving my hand around whilst doing this. I'm a hands-on talkative person.
fuel scoop disengaged.
Partly because I know that communication-wise, and that's like one of those things I always say, is like, I do struggle with human communication. The language, and all human languages tend to struggle with properly having enough words to convey emotions and sensations. And if we were to create a word for every emotion and sensation,
4, 3, 2,
we'd end up with a language so large that the human brain cannot contain enough words to properly communicate. Which is an incredibly depressing thing. We are not capable of communicating efficiently with our fellow human beings. Of course, that's a problem for you. I am a divine, beautiful owl. And you're just a little human. Your pathetic little human language. I communicate via telepathy to my kin. I communicate via telepathy and also hooting and also chatting in DMs on Discord. Advanced alien species, what is your communication? Telepathy and also instant messaging. It works.
free
When,
shift charging.
when they're out of our telepathy range, we use the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Like one of those things like of communications and whatnot is how different communication systems evolve. That's also a thing that is important to note about whether you take a look at Thargoids and their communication and the Guardians and their communication. A lot of it is diagrams like things. Then again, what would an alien think of our writing if they perchanced upon a book and did not know what the symbols meant? The Thargoids, of course, communicate in different ways. They communicate in movements, emotions, almost, and sensations and lights in this dance. It's also always this thing that I found the Thargoids to be so beautiful is the way they danced to communicate as they did things. And that sort of motion is like why I firmly believe that there is no on-foot Thargoids, because there is no Thargoid pilots. The ships are the pilots. The ships are the species. The motherships are essentially giant Thargoids. One big fat Thargoid, and its job is to park somewhere and be a mobile base for the other Thargoids to go in and out. It's not like it's a queen or in charge or something, because actually if you look at how a hive mind actually works, and like with ants or bees, the queen isn't in charge. The queen's job is just to get fucked and birth new workers of whatever variety, or soldier ants or protector bees or anything whatnot like that. They're the ones running the show, essentially. That is how a hive mind works. It responds by identifying a threat, and they react on programming, biological programming. And as such, creating a character with a magic brain chip that jizzes out fucking information, speaks for the Thargoids, doesn't fucking make sense. Especially when you take Seojin viewing the Thargoid invasion of the Titans. Her contributions were to tell everyone that the Thargoids are angry when the Thargoid Titans were busy fucking blowing shit up. Great for information. And then as the military scientists figured out, okay, they're going on the defensive now because we've destroyed one Titan, she goes, oh, they're going on the defense. The magic brain chip in my head is saying so. I speak for the Thargoids. And then, oh no, the last Titan, this is going to be a critical point. There's only one Titan. We must be prepared for anything. They could do something crazy. And then she goes, I'm scared. I can feel it in the Thargoid voices. They're going to do something crazy. Like, and no shit. We don't need you to repeat what everyone already fucking knows. Which is again one of those things why I firmly believe that the current writing for Elite Dangerous on the story side is incredibly bad, and why the Seojin whatnot character is a terrible fucking character. And something it is one of my but I'm morbidly curious where they're gonna go with it. It's like, okay, is she going to now, she's gonna disappear. She's probably gonna return now, and she's gonna have a Guardian relic that she's going to swear has the engram for Mr. Wycherley. And then she's going to sit there and say, okay, I'm now going to start giving everyone's horoscopes, and you should all listen to me. Because I've got Wycherley in a Guardian Relic, and I've got a magic brain chip, which isn't alien technology. It is Azimuth Biochemicals that made the technology. And they literally went, hey, we can remove that chip from her brain. But Aegis went, oh no, we don't know how to remove it. It's alien technology. No. Azimuth Biotech in the next fucking room is like, hey, can we give you the manual on how to remove that? We can give you the manual how to make more of that. If you think she's actually getting messages from the Thargoid hive mind, we can plug everyone with that fucking chip, and everyone can fucking hear what she's supposedly hearing. It's either the most inept writing, or very deep, complicated writing where she's actually a scam, or the writers were just lazy and stupid and didn't quite know what to do, so just shitted this character out. It's just like, it's like a thing that you can always do with writing a story. It's like, take a character out, like completely remove them, see if the story still makes sense. If the story still makes sense, then that character cannot be a main character or provide any sort of useful fucking contribution to this, and is terrible writing. And on the topic of terrible writing, it's like there's like sort of like a way to approach writing in general is like, if you want to get better at writing, something to do would be to read bad writing. I believe it's a writer in a video actually said it, and was actually quite popular. I forget his name the whole time. But if you want to get better at writing, then read bad writing. And if you look at bad writing and go, oh my god, this could have been fucking written better by a 5-year-old, that's good. You already know. Then you are already on a track of becoming a better writer. And even, in fact, read your own stories that you might scribble or write down and go, how can I change this? But generally, if you want to have a story, make sure to first identify what kind of genre you're writing in. Because a big thing about a story is to have the correct amount of conflict. And when you have a conflict that just never ends, a drama that never ends or was never resolved, the viewers, the readers, the whatnot, or whatever, or watchers, or gamers that are playing the game, or whatever form the story may be given in, they will get bored, they will get frustrated, they will get tired, they will get disinterested, and they will leave. Because it's important to notice, like, depending on genre, of course, is because drama doesn't always have to be, oh no, this person slapped my girlfriend. Oh, no. Drama can be conflict. It can be a struggle, whether it be a lost pen or a book that went missing, or a battlefield, or a dilemma, or whatever it might be. Something that the plot goes around, or even if if it's a slice of life thing, the drama is whatever was happening on that day. And at the end of the day, it's resolved. And everything goes on, and the next episode or comic strip is the new piece of drama. But you don't want to keep dragging the same fucking piece of drama for 10 fucking years. Cough, cough, delete dangerous, cough, cough, just endless fucking Thargoids. When we have the human AI rebellion, we have the Guardian constructs, we have the Ancients, and we have Roxla. Numerous other story paths that can be taken, but would never just... And also just humanity in general is the entire Empire, Federation, Alliance, Galactic War, which we might actually now get with the increases on it's like this is all wonderful topics about new bits of drama that can be explored. But ultimately, the Thargoid content doesn't have to go away. It can be repurposed and used. You know, there's nothing that's stopping them saying, like, every X amount, or when players do certain things, they can agitate more Titans to come, and then we can have this whole thing again. But, like, in general, we move on from this stuff, and we explore new things. But again, that goes down to the whole thing of, like, if conflict goes on too long, and it's not the type of story that can support it. Like, for example, if you look at Warhammer, the entire overarching drama is the galaxy's in internal war and everyone's fucking miserable and dying. But the book by book, by show, by comic, the debates and the drama is a arching story that eventually gets resolved and sorted out. And that's important because we don't have in Warhammer 40,000 Gilliman is not continuously non-stop just fighting one fucking dude for 40,000 fucking years. No. No, there's other fights, there's other things. It's things go on. And that's an important thing to do. And you can't just go ahead and in Elite Dangerous's terms, like, okay, now we had literally poked the Thargoids. Ooh, 3 million. We're now going to go ahead and have Witcherly become a program chip so he can come back next week and go, meh, and be the typical Saturday cartoon villain just keeps on coming back doing the same thing, which is poke the Thargoids to make them invade, and then sieging a whatnot terrible character design will come in as well after. It's like, I'm here to fight Witcherly, and how are you going to fucking do it? I'm going to speak for the Thargoids. They're angry. Yeah, thank you very much for that update. You can go be someone else's fanfic in self-insert character somewhere else, please. Okay, exploration data handed in, and that little thing is now popped in. So that's that little blob of merits while it's done while we were there. I do actually quite want to maybe see about handing in the biodata I picked up along the way. We are, of course, sort of at the end of the stream now, so things are going to be sort of... Ooh. Can I get a... Huh? Yay! Daddy Petraeus giving a little bit of sweeties for their favorite pilot. Oh, thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy Petraeus. I love my little care packages. They're very nice. Yes, I love them. Thank you. People must think I'm fucking weird, but you know. This looks good. He doesn't have that side. There's a lot of weird hairstyles some people have out there, you know? Certainly not the worst hairstyle in existence. He keeps clean shaved, he's washed. Imperial, he's got style. He's got an entire navy. What's not to like about him? He's not making an ass of himself. Or at least not yet. Next week's plot storyline, he gets fucking butt naked in the middle of nowhere and slaps his ass, and then like, oh well, I'm fucking lost it there. Right, I want to find a place where I can have a... I mean, there's Norman Prospect nearby. There is no missions that are currently that we're asking for biological data, but I just want to dump it somewhere. For the sake of my own sanity, I'm heading home. By which I mean I'm going to Etunes and landing my ship there. Wait, does biological data give merits? I suddenly can't remember. Stop at this place here and sell it here, see if I can get merits for it. Before I finish off. When I'm saying I'm gonna finish up, but I quite like Elite Dangerous. It's a nice game. Despite the community being absolutely toxic and horrible. That's why I know it's a vain idea, but maybe perhaps I can create some kind of space. A safe space. A place where we play the game to enjoy it. We don't play it to push the faction state of whatever fucking power play or BGS group or whatever Discord warrior moderator seems to be shouting about. Oh no, why is it even doing all these tasks for me? Oh. Well, because we're all trying to have fun. We're playing this game for fun. It's like, not everyone wants to 24/7 be pushing your BGS war so that you can look at the Elite Dangerous map and say, oh, look at my name everywhere. Meanwhile, you didn't do anything. Like, yeah, well, whatever. You know, some people want to have fun. And they've got their own reasons and whatnot to have fun. And if you have fun pushing the boundaries of that war, then go ahead. Find people who like it, but I just don't. And I create a little space where we enjoy the game and chat and have a fun time. And perhaps also enjoy a bit of art. This is probably causing motion sickness what I'm doing right now for people. I should stop it. Picking up motion sickness is also I thought about epilepsy. I actually do have it's a bit difficult to explain. It's like right temporal lobe epilepsy. So like epilepsy that's only happening in a small section of the brain, and it happens in such infrequent states that there's no reason for me to take medication. It's better for me to be aware that when I have an epileptic fit, I know what's happening, and I can, because I don't have a full fit and I fall unconscious into spasms. I'm fortunate. I can say I'm very fortunate that I don't have to do that. But also on the other side note is like if I did have that kind of level, people might have known earlier that I had epilepsy of some form. Yeah, but like I know my triggers are not so much flashing lights. Like certain flashing lights, yeah, that was going to give me. But then again, a strong enough flashing light is going to give anyone in the entire world, regardless of their state, is potent enough, can give them a fit, or just blast out their retinas and make them blind. But like for me, is like so some of the and certain smells do trigger it. And getting absolutely fucking pissed off at someone also makes me go into that state as well. Like, I think fucking unhooks in my brain. But like, for me, but generally, the lights in Elite Dangerous, the flashing lights of lasers and whatnot, even the red ones, aren't that dangerous to me, I would say. Because it's not as sudden sharp. Even with like a pulse laser firing on screen, it tends to be very pulsed, not flash. It's not. Oh, it doesn't go from intensity from 0 instantly to 100, then 100 for 1 millisecond, and then back down to 0. If you actually look at it, it does generally go a bit like it curves onto 100% intensity, then goes back down again in a very small amount of time. So the lights are generally, for me at least, much more comfortable and not as annoying. I don't know what you're talking about. A terrain alert. I've already landed. Sorry if I control traffic. Oh, I'm such an asshole. Oh, I hope these people actually have a Vista Genomics. Vista. You know what I mean? That's a weird. Why am I so fucking immature suddenly today? Who knows? Yeah. Let's disembark. Yep. Let's quickly sell that data, then we close off for today. I actually do play with, for those who don't maybe watching this new or live or in future, I have actually got my keyboard set up that I can use controller and mouse and keyboard for on-foot things, but like on generally for the flying and the SRV, I use controller. I don't use joystick and throttle anymore. Let's make sure we do that. So I forgot that because I found like for shooting things, it's of course very important to have a bit more better control on the mouse and keyboard. But that makes me want to vomit. I actually genuinely did get acid reflux right there when I looked at that cutter advert. How in general.
I hope you have some organic. I'm curious to see what you've brought us.
Yeah, I only scanned one plant, which was like 22 million. But yeah.
Anything else? Thank you for your contribution to our research.
174 merits. What's this look now? Wow. You must really love that shit to be able to look at that. Anyways. Yeah, and from the last time, yes, we do exactly have a ending soon screen. I had added it in, everyone. You can actually start doing that. Although I need to make sure I find a way I can like put like a shortcut key for it and get it set up so I can actually have these things a bit more professional. Well, at least it's, you know, it looks snazzy enough. And I can put this on, we can start closing off. And I would like to say again, remind you that subscribing, liking, follow me on Blue Sky, etc. etc. I try to live stream Saturday and Sunday around this time, but usually I will announce it on my Blue Sky, whether I'm going live and how long I'm going live, or when I end. And of course, there's the VODs always available to watch at any time in the future. And so, a final thing is thank you for watching, or be it live, or in the future, or in the past, or wherever you may be in time and space. My name is Zia. I hope you have a good day or night, depending on where you are. Let us close off, and come on, piece of shit.